However, I can imagine that a dancer, for example, doesn't want to have all sorts of devices and buttons in his hands all the time. So, of course, the largest button you can actually have is the floor itself. So maybe we can go to color tracking. Yeah. We have put a few cameras in the roof, and let me state, by the way, that a lot of the stuff we're using is not made by us. That is to say, it was already out there in open source land. It's developed by a lot of very creative and talented people. What we aim for is to make a system that could actually combine all those modules, because that takes always a lot of time. So again, the color tracking, the interface is made by Verdi, but the algorithms that are underneath it is CVJIT, which is part of Jitter, which is a program part of Max MSP. So I don't want to have credit for all the wonderful technology that we have. It's mostly about the connections and the workflow that is our work. Okay, good. So we have not the ideal lighting situation. We have a lot of very red tones in the lighting, and we have sort of a reddish floor. So tracking red would probably not work very well. For this reason, we start with blue. If I hold this up, you can see Verdi has always been already selected it. Can you select the floor? Yeah. So now it's selecting actually a certain tone of red, and if I say can you select now the blue, we got the blue. And the black and white image is actually just a mask, so it now says only blue we now make white, and white could be equal to amount of pixels, and the center of that pixel could actually be a position. So that's what you also see if I start moving back and forth. You see this little gray box and a little round thing going back and forth. If I go left and right, again, the thing goes left and right. Now, left and right, back and forth, front and back is a bit relative in this system, of course. So that sometimes we need to figure out a bit. Verdi, can I have just a simple video? Yeah. And I like to have the video on the back wall. Another nice device that we haven't made ourselves, but just paid for, is a video matrix switch. Because of course we have a lot of video outputs, a lot of beamers, and a lot of inputs also, a lot of computers. So we just have a little device that could say, okay, we've got 8 computers and 4 outputs, just put computer 2 to beamer 5 or whatever. Beamer 4 actually, it's only 4. Okay. Alright, good. I just let the movie play. And I think it's nice if we can sort of go back and forth in time. Okay. I find it very interesting, and of course that has been done in theater a lot already, is that physical position is connected to time. Because it means that I can be literally in the past, or can literally be in the future, or in the now moment, which you probably call theater. So we're now going reverse. Yep. Okay, can you put a sort of a multiplier so it goes a bit faster? I'm starting to get impatient. Hey, we're going in the wrong direction now. Okay, good. So it goes a bit faster, you can feel the dynamics. Let's say I find the moment where it hits the glass interesting, so if I'm right, where's the 0 point? Here it is. Yep. That's the point where we stop, and actually I meant this point. So I can move back and forth, finding my place. I mean, we need to, of course, it's a bit about calibration of the physical and the virtual space. It takes a little bit of time. It always helps to say, I'm standing here and I now want a rate of 2, and so you have to do those steps. But I'd like to continue with the story, otherwise you'll probably melt it by the way I'm done. So, I think another interesting thing is, I mean, video is used a lot in theater, film of course, a long history with that. However, we've seen a lot of back projection, large wall projections in theater. The problem with that is, and I already see that, is you're all looking at the movie and not at me. And of course, as an actor, I'd like to sort of get the tension once in a while if I have an important part in the play. So, maybe we can put the scale to the y-axis. Okay. Yeah. We're looking like...
No, I know what you mean.
What do you mean? Well, I like to put the scale of the movie.
We call it a zoom actually, but it's okay.
Oh, you call it zoom, I call it scale. Well, zoom is better, yeah, that's more like what a theater maker would say. I like to zoom in and out. Okay, so now if I move forward, also the screen sort of gets bigger. If I move backward, my movie would get smaller. However, I would say reverse is more interesting.
Okay.
It's a bit jittery, and that has to do with the light situation. That's why color tracking is very tricky in theater. So I'll show you some other tracking methods also to compensate for this. Ah, cool. Can I go all the way? No, now I'm going from here. So let's say this is like a wall of 10 by whatever, and we have this wonderful videos. Now I'm sort of, it's logical that because I'm standing close to the wall, I'm part of that video world. Right? But maybe as soon as I move forward and I have my monologue, I think it's interesting that actually the actor can let the focus of the audience towards himself, because the video gets smaller. And I think that's an interesting feature for an actor to play with, because you can also stay in the middle, and depending on the text and its relationship with the video, can fool around with it. Good. Okay. The thing is, we now have a linear connection to my movement and an event. So again, I could change the play rate of the movie, or I can actually change the volume of the sound on the place where I stand. But they're all like linear connections. So this is 0 and it goes all the way to 1. I also find it interesting that I can just move around and nothing happens. And when I'm in a certain area, I get a trigger. So that makes my floor a potential row of buttons. And that's what we do. So we have what we call the region patch, where we can say not the whole stage is active, but just parts of the stage are active. Do we do color tracking?
Yeah, color tracking is fine.
Okay. Can you show me where I am? I'm in it now.
Yeah,
that's fine. Just let it rain when I'm here.
Okay, ready? Oh yeah, that's.
Can you tell the audience also what your mom?
Yeah, I'm connecting the audio piece to the floor plan. We have a floor plan with a. Sorry, I'm doing it like this.
Thank you.
We have a floor plan with a Regio Joris.
Yeah, that's now
active
1
at the moment because he's in.
And it's now 0.
And it's now 0 because he's out.
And it's now 1. Yeah, good.
And then we can. Oh, actually, I'm going to put the clock in it.
Okay. Sounds like we're done. Okay, good. Yeah, well, so you can imagine if it rains here, it starts raining, I move here, and I'm back home inside. So you can make different regions on stage where, without having to need to build a whole decor, you can still, on the basis of my position, have an interior and an exterior, or different worlds or different actors. Without do it with color tracking, can also be with that. And we can also, it really works. And now they start playing. Okay. We can also do it on the basis of movement. I think, Falk, for you that's very interesting, that you can trigger sound not by holding a blue thing, because that would sort of limit the dancer a bit, but really by movement. So we make regions, and when you move through it, it compares the background all the time with the next frame. So with the time interval, it looks at the same image. Is it still the same? No, it's not the same. In that region, something happened, which is actually just movement. And so we can trigger sounds in that way, which is something we want to develop further for the project. What is? Oh, okay. So I can now. There you go. So I don't need necessarily like blue dingetjes or markers. Okay, dankjewel.
Yes.